All right, it's time for the Warframe Weekly Reset. Let's go over it. First things first, we got Archon Nihilus. We got a chance to get a yellow shard. It looks like the first mission is a mobile defense. We still have the Knights of Navarus event that's going on right now. We still have 21 and a half days left for that, so make sure you guys check that out. Now for base circuit, we have the frames Ivara, Inaros, and Titania. So Inaros you can get from a quest through Barrow, and then Titania, you've got the new Loca quest thing that you can do to get her. But Ivara is another farming frame. You're going to have to farm to actually get her. So you're going to have to do spy missions on Earth through Phobos. You have a chance to get her systems. And then Ceres through Saturn, including Lua also, you have a chance to get her chassis. And then Uranus through Sedna, you have a chance to get her neuroptics and maybe her blueprint. But those are fun to farm, let me tell you that. Either way, it's up to you who you want to get. And Naros, I think that quest is kind of a pain in the butt, depending on the enemies that you have to put in the jar. If you've done the quest, you know what I'm talking about. Ivara, you're gonna have to farm, but either way, I'd say Ivara out of these three would probably be the best bet. Now going on to the weapons, we have the Torid, dual Toxocyst, dual Ichor, Miter, and the Atomos. Now out of these weapons, I'd say any of these are amazing, especially the Torid, especially the Toxocyst, and the Ichor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't go wrong with picking any of these weapons, but if you haven't chosen any of them yet, the Torid is definitely worth it. You'll see that once you try it, the laser beam of death. Toxocyst, great secondary weapon, high damage, and then you've got yourself a melee right there, dual Ichor, so definitely pick between those three. I've seen the Miter do some pretty decent damage, and the Atomos, so can't go wrong. And then scrolling over, we got Riven Mods and Kuva. Then Teshin's weekly reward here for the Steel Path. We actually have an Umbra Forma blueprint that's available this week, so I highly recommend picking that up, because those are pretty rare to actually grab. So if you can, 150 Steel Essence, and you can get yourself an Umbra Forma. Now, if we go over here and talk to Ergo, we've got the T-Net melee weapons, which the Ferox is at 29% toxin. We have the Grigori at 49% impact, Livia 30% toxin again. Exec, we have 57% heat, so that's pretty high. And then we have the agendas at a straight 60% electricity. So if you haven't gotten a T-Net melee weapon at 60%, totally worth it. Agendas, electricity, or not. It's up to you. Now with arthritis, we do have some weekly rewards back here we could pick up, which is 5,000 Kuva, Rifle Riven Mod, Shotgun Riven Mod, Primary Arcane Adapter, or an Orcan Catalyst Blueprint. So those are currently available, and we do have a blue potato, so if you need one of those, that's available. Now with Nor's Credit Shop, we do have a couple mods we can go over. We have Dreamer's Bond, which is a mod that everybody should have after they do the Earth to Venus Junction. And then we have Enemy Radar and Sniper Scavenger. So if you don't have these aura mods, you can pick them up, add them to your collection. And then for augment mods, we do have Power of 3 here for Ivara. So if you want to pick that up for 20 credits, right on ahead. And it doesn't look like we have any weapons available this week, so I wouldn't worry about that. You have other things like helmets, Vauban. If you don't have Vauban, get yourself some Nitane, because it's a good place to get Nitane if you got the credits. Stack up on some of that also. Prime Resurgence is still Mag and Nova Prime. Totally worth picking up those guys, or girls, if you have not yet. They are pretty decent frames, and it looks like here in about 10 days we're going to have Octavia and Nezha. And for the Hex rewards, it looks like the first one we have a Melee Arcane Adapter or an Arcane. And then we have a 3-day Affinity Booster, Double Arcane Pack. Then we have Double Arcane Pack, Orcan Reactor Blueprint, and then we also have a Riven or an Arcane. And then it looks like we'll be able to get a Red Shard from this week, or if you want 6,000 Kuva, which I highly recommend getting that Red Shard for sure. At least I'm going to do that. And our last reward is a Melee Arcane Adapter or a Forma Blueprint. And over here with Eleanor, we do have a full rotation of 4 days, it looks like. The Catalyst is Radiation 25%, the Hema 38% cold. We have the Mire at 25% magnetic, Motivore at 47% heat, and then we have the Pox, 35% electricity, Sportrix, 25% impact, and the Dual Toxica, 33% magnetic. Looks like the Motivore is the highest at 47% with the heat stat. Everything else is pretty decently low. Temporal Archimedia, we do have the Hell Scrub, Exterminate, and a Defense. So we get to defend Flareon there at the end. Anyways, on to the actual debuffs. We have Undersupplied, Hypersensitive, Constricted, so reduce it max energy by 75%. Then we have Powerless, all abilities are disabled until squad kills 50 enemies. So that's going to be fun to deal with right there. But I guess we're going to do it. And then Bird has a Archon Shard, which is a Red Shard for this week. Totally worth picking that up. I don't have enough standing, so I'm gonna have to fix that here in a second. And then for the Elite Archimedia, we have Exterminate, Alchemy, and a Survival. Then debuffs are Fractured Armor, Ability Overload, Undersupplied, and Untreatable. So not too horrible to deal with. We can get this done easier than the Temporal at least. Other than that, make sure you guys are spending your Riven Slivers to get yourself some Riven mods, Kuva, and credits, because what else are we going to use them for? And I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!
Clem.